Hello, everyone. My name is Precious, and I'm here to talk about the new Netflix show, Geek Girl, based on Holly Smale's best-selling book series. And I'm delighted to welcome Holly herself and Emily Carey, who plays Harriet Manners in Geek Girl. How are you guys doing today?
So
Good,
good.
thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. I'm so happy to have you guys. I actually read Geek Girl in primary school, and me and my friends absolutely adored it, and we loved your book so much. Now, for the people that don't know about Geek Girl, could you please tell us more about the theme of the show?
Okay, so it is about an awkward, slightly young, not popular girl called Harriet Manners, who is struggling at school and kind of wants to transform her life, and she
Yeah.
does that through the means of fashion. It's really about, kind of learning how to love yourself, essentially. That's what I kind of think the book's all about, and the show is as well.
Also, how involved were you in adapting your words in the screening? Did you have to change anything during the process?
I was really lucky because I was actually like really involved all the way through from the beginning.
Yeah.
So I felt, I think that's quite rare when it comes to sort of taking adaptations. But yeah, I got to be really involved. And the only real changes that we made were just to make the story bigger, to be honest.
Now, Emily, I have not forgotten about you. How was the audition process like? And did you have to read the book beforehand?
I remember the open call coming out for Harriet Manners,
Yeah.
and I am a huge fan of the books, as most
Yeah.
people are our age. I think I similarly read it in primary school. And so I remember the open call coming out, and they were looking for something very specific and like a
Yeah.
natural redhead, much taller than I am. And I remember feeling gutted. And
Yeah.
I waited very patiently, and then eventually I got myself taped through. And then went into the room and met Declan and Zoe, and I think the rest is history.
Wow. And as we know that Harriet Manners is very different amongst her peers. So how important is it to you in being yourself, being different, and owning your own identity?
I think it's so important. It's especially an important message for young people. I think school is a crazy place. I think it was
Yeah.
my least favorite place growing up. I, similar to Harriet, couldn't find my people and I didn't know where I fit in. And I think the show it shows that you can find your tribe by being yourself. And as Holly said, it's a story of self-love and self-acceptance. And I think that's super important to put on screen, and it's truly an honor and a privilege to be part of this story.
And Holly, you published the book in 2013. Now that's over a decade ago. How much has changed during this time? And also, being in Gen Z, how would you like people to perceive geeks?
Well, there's been quite a lot of change, to be honest, because obviously when I started writing it in 2009, so it was even, longer ago,
Wow.
I knew nothing about neurodiversity at all. Like it just it wasn't on my radar. And so obviously, the process of writing Geek Girl, I was writing kind of from a point of just trying to replicate how I had experienced school. But obviously my knowledge and everything has grown since then. So yeah, I think the world is a slightly different place now to what it was
Yeah.
when the books, but I think that the central messages are still there and still true.
And we have two characters. We have Harriet, who is awkward and she does not like fashion. And we have Nat, who's her best friend, and she absolutely adores fashion and she wants to be in the fashion industry. Now, I know growing up in London, as I went to a secondary school in London, being in cliques, like people usually tend to be with friends that they are more alike. And Harriet and Nat aren't really the same. So, what inspired you to create these two characters that come from different worlds?
With friendship, it's more about, how understanding someone and empathizing and caring is the most important part of a friendship. The
Yeah.
fact that you have slightly different interests, or the fact that you might like going to a museum and they don't, that those sort of things are peripheral. It's the ability to understand and listen and care. That's the sort of the basis of a friendship. So yeah, they're really different characters, and I really enjoy them bringing different sides out of each other and kind of
Yeah.
making lives richer just by kind of expanding their horizons. But yeah, it's really, friendship's really core to the books, and
Yeah.
it's just really about what the love between two friends can, what it can do basically.
So I know Harriet and Toby are autistic, and Toby is very aware of his autism. Even though he gets bullied, he's still confident. And Harriet and Toby have become great friends throughout the series. So how has Harriet being friends with Toby helped with her self-confidence?
I think seeing someone who is so unapologetically themselves is
Yeah.
inspiring to anyone, but especially for Harriet, who it's not even at the point where she doesn't accept it within herself, is that she doesn't fully understand it yet. And I think Toby
Yeah.
offers that other perspective where she can feel seen within him and therefore can see something within herself. He's so lovable. And
Yeah.
I think Harriet and Toby have this sort of unspoken connection. And I would say the same with two neurodiverse people within a room. It's this sort of mutual understanding of like, oh, I don't have to explain myself to you. You get it, and I get you.
Exactly.
That's cool. And I think that's what you see between those two on screen.
So what other themes are explored in the show?
I mean, to be honest, the themes of the show are very much the themes of life, you know. It's about working out who you are and what you want. It's about working out how to be a good friend, how to be a good girlfriend, how to be a good, you know, daughter or wife, or it's those things that we all deal with on like a daily basis. And those are really the heart of the show, because yes, it's got fashion, it's got fun, it's got shoes and clothes, and I love all that. I think it's so fun. But you know, at its heart, it's really about people interacting with each other and caring about each other, and being kind. So, you know, those are the themes that I think that are really like kind of give the foundations.
And Emily and Holly, what advice do you have for young people that want to get into the writing industry and the acting industry, but they don't know where to start?
As long as you have that passion for the craft,
Yeah.
anything is possible. As long as you keep fighting, you will find that break, you will find that moment. And just trust yourself. I think that's my biggest piece of advice.
I think believing in yourself is the kind of one thing, because it's if you can believe in yourself, you can keep going even when you get those knockbacks. And also believe that what you have to offer is unlike anybody else, because you know, comparison is the thief of joy. And if you kind of focus on what you are able to bring that's unique and special about you, which everybody has, then you know, that's what's going to sort of make your voice shine, really.
Now, the last question I have for both of you is, if you could play one character in the series of your choice, who would it be?
Oh, that is a tough question, mainly because this is such a well-cast show and I cannot imagine anyone else being these people other than who we have. I think I'd always love to play sort of the more mean stereotype. I'd love to play Wilbur. Wilbur's so much fun, and I think Wilbur is the beating heart in this show.
I think for me it's kind of weird, because when I first wrote Geek Girl, I was much closer in age to Harriet. You know, I was mid-20s, and I was, you know, obviously there. And as the books have grown older and I have grown older, I'm now older than Annabelle, her stepmom. I'd want to be Harriet's mummy.
I love that. And I absolutely love the show. I actually had the opportunity to watch a couple series, and I know that the people that are out there watching, you guys are in for a treat. But I just want to say, Holly and Emily, thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all the success, and I hope to see more of Harriet Manners.
Thank you so much, Precious. You're wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.